So just something to bear in mind when it comes to singing and screaming. I'm very influenced by Kurt Cobain. I want to scream like him. I don't want to sound like him, like exactly. I want to sound like myself, but I mean, I like his the way he screams. It sounds great, and I want to be able to do it like that. I want to use the same technique, if you want to call that a technique, as he did. Um, but when it comes to being able to scream like that, you got to understand that um, environment makes a big difference. Like if you go to a studio compared to if you're trying to do it in your room, you know, for example, I'm in rehab at the minute, so it's a it's a peaceful environment here. So to try and scream like that, I'm gonna sound different to if I'm in a studio because it's a very calm, quiet environment where I'm at the rehab. So it just doesn't really fit to be able to scream. It doesn't really make sense. Like you won't be able to sound as good compared to if you're in a studio. You can kind of just go at it more when you're in a studio because you're kind of expected to scream. You know, it's not really expected. It's not really. It's just like um, you know, because like I'm around people who don't necessarily want to hear me screaming compared to if I'm in a studio where people, if I'm doing a band practice, then everybody wants to hear you scream. Do you know what I mean? Um, it just makes a difference, you know. You can just go at it more when you're in a studio. You know, if you're in a band and you say, okay, you want to do a cover of Nirvana, let's say you want to play Lounge Act, you know, the band's expecting you to scream that last verse, or that last chorus, whatever you want to call it. I think it's a verse. I don't know. The last section of the song, let's call it. They're expecting you to scream that bit, but if you're trying to do that in your room, in a place where people don't want to hear you scream, you know, people want, everybody just wants you to be quiet. It's just that you're going to sound different. It'll have an effect on your voice. So that's all I want to say. Environment makes a difference. All right, bye.